Welcome back, it's me Lou. I'm here for another unboxing and review, and today we are featuring the LEGO Star Wars Mandalorian's N-1 Starfighter. This is set number 75325, suggested for ages 9 and up, and it's made up of 412 pieces. This came out recently. I'm pretty excited to put it together. I'm actually a big fan of the LEGO Naboo Starfighter. Way back when, the LEGO Naboo Starfighter, the first release, was actually one of the first LEGO sets for Star Wars I purchased years ago. Unfortunately, I no longer have it. I ended up breaking the set down and I ended up sourcing the pieces out for custom builds. But I do have another LEGO Naboo Starfighter that once I complete this, we could do a side-by-side comparison. So this is the Mandalorian's N-1 Starfighter. If you've seen the show, it was kind of cool how, the idea of the ship came about. It's pretty cool. It's kind of like they took a pretty badass ship and kind of like tricked it out. It's built for speed and combat, and it looks great. So this set includes, for minifigs, the Mandalorian, Grogu, Peli, and the BD droid. On the back of the box, it kind of recreates the scene in the hangar bay with Peli and Mando as they're assembling the ship. So as you can see, they're inside the hangar bay. The canopy opens, as does Grogu's in the back. This is where the droid socket used to be, but they've replaced it. So this is where Grogu hangs out. Some of the features of the ship, there's a removable section, so you have a storage compartment, and over here you press down on the front of the engine and it activates the rocket launcher. Alright, let's open this up. And let's unbox the contents of this. Alright, so one thing that surprised me is that this kit is made up of only 412 pieces. That doesn't seem like a whole lot. For example, the mini rig here, the microfighter, the Razor Crest microfighter, this is made up of 98 pieces. So it seems kind of weird that something so large is only made up of 412. But maybe they're good at this, being economical about the parts usage. So what we have here is we have bag number 1. Actually, we have 2 bag number 1s. I don't understand why they just call one bag number 2. So we have 2 bag number 1s, and then we have a bag number 2 over here. There's also, for me anyways, the dreaded sticker sheet. I hate applying stickers. I've never applied stickers successfully onto any of my LEGO kits. When I do, they always come off center. And over here we have the instruction manual. Again, I feel kind of surprised. For a kit that has only 412 pieces, it feels like the manual's a little bit thicker than it should be. So let's take a quick glimpse at this. Yeah, this looks like a fairly straightforward build. Nothing too complicated. So I'm pretty stoked on the design. If anything, in the future I might upgrade it just to kind of smooth out all the studs on the wing. Normally I'm not one of those kind of people that feels the need to cover every stud. to smooth it out to make it look, a little bit cleaner. But in this case here, it kind of feels like it needs it. I might get additional wing pieces and at least elevate the front, and then towards the back get a couple of flat tiles just to smooth it out. But otherwise, I think it's a really, really nice, clean build. All right, so I'm going to build this off camera, and when I return, we'll take a look at the completed piece, and hopefully we'll compare it with some of the, or at least one of the other previous Naboo Starfighters. So I'll be back in a second. And we are back. Okay, so I completed building the Mandalorian's N-1 Naboo Starfighter. Took me probably a little under an hour and a half. I kind of did some modifications to it, so that's why it took a little bit longer than I thought it would. Overall, it's a really, really nice looking ship. The difficulty level of building the ship, it's very easy. It's nothing that's too complicated. The design is really nice, but I had to make, as I stated earlier, I made some modifications. So I'll show you what I did. So here's the instruction manual, and here's the finished ship. So what I did was I kind of modified the wings just a little bit. Let me find the right page. Okay. So over here, the final design of the wings. Right, let me find this real quick. Okay, so the top of the wings here, it's still very kind of rough. It's very, like most Lego builds, all the studs are kind of exposed. And I know like a lot of Lego fans, especially like older fans and like artists and people who enjoy making their own mocks, a lot of the times they like to cover up as many studs as possible for a much cleaner and smoother look. For me, I don't really care too much if there's a lot of studs exposed and whatnot. But in this case here, I kind of wanted to make an exception because I kind of felt the design choices they made for the wings looked kind of disjointed, because up here, I like this here, how you have the 4 studs, and then you have the plate, and then it's kind of like a somewhat gradual transition to like the lower level here of the wing. But then it kind of pops up here because there's another plate, and then it smooths out, but it just doesn't look like a clean design. And then I was doing an image search for the actual N1 model on the show, and the show, even though the N1 in The Mandalorian is kind of like a stripped down version of the original prequel ship, it's still very sleek, it's still very streamlined, and I kind of want to, kind of retain that on the wings at least. Because the N1, it's known for being a very sleek ship, and for me, the idea of having this many studs exposed on the top kind of felt a little, I don't want to say amateurish, but if I really felt like they could have done a better job. So I kind of went ahead and modified the wings slightly. And I had to do that with the addition of maybe about 8 other pieces. So initially, the wings here, this wing piece here is mounted underneath, right here, and it holds the wings together. So what I did is I took this wing piece off, and then I placed it on top, right here, and then the four dark gray plates, I put 2 on this wing, 2 on this wing, and then I level it off with the wing, and it creates a really, really smooth surface for the wing. It looks a lot cleaner. And I kind of dug around because I have like tons of extra Lego pieces in my house from all the mock building I do. And I had some 2x1 dark gray plates, and then I kind of like finished off the wings by smoothing it out a little bit here and covering up just some of the studs. So there is some transition. The studs in front don't bother me too much because it's kind of a higher elevation, and then when you come to the middle point of the wings and the back, it kind of like gradually slopes downward. So for me, it looks a lot cleaner than the stock build, and you're not losing the integrity of the strength of the wing, because all you're really doing is taking this plate and taking it from the bottom and putting it on top, and it still has the strength, and it's not flimsy or anything. and the wing's still kind of retaining the same thickness also. You're just taking a plate that's placed underneath and it's putting it on top, and the addition of these plates here just kind of makes everything level, if that makes sense. So yeah, I just wanted a much cleaner look. And let's take a look at the ship. So this is kind of a larger ship. It's not going to fit under my camera completely. Here's the front. Both engines, they're not symmetrical. They're different in designs, especially once you start constructing them. Initially, I tried cheating. So normally, if I'm building like a jet or anything that's kind of symmetrical in design, normally when the instructions tells me to build one engine, I'll kind of build the second engine at the same time, but just reverse the pieces, knowing that it's going to go on the opposite side. But 3/4 of the way through, I noticed that I was missing pieces, and then as I thumbed through the instructions later on, I found that the engines are actually asymmetrical. Their designs don't match. You know, this one has certain pieces that this one doesn't, and then some of the pieces are also arranged differently. So I tried to save time by cheating and build both engines at once, but I kind of set myself back because I had to like disassemble one and figure out what pieces needed to go where, because I thought I ran out of pieces. All right, so this is the front. Like I said, I smoothed out the wings. The build towards the middle of the chassis is very clean and smooth. One thing I kind of wish Lego did was, instead of having the dark gray pieces here, I kind of wish they kept the light gray and just made the ship completely light gray, because if you look at some of the images of the ship on the show, it's all uniform in color, with the exception of like some yellow blotches from the previous paint job. But yeah, I mean, it's all right having the discoloration here. I think it's okay. It still looks pretty clean. The detail on this is nice. The engine, building the engine was pretty fun. All the greebling that goes on in the back and in the front. There's a shooter right here underneath. You'll find the shooter right there, and you can take the missile, put it in, and then this activates it. If you push this down, the missile will shoot out like that. There's a storage compartment right here. You can lift this up, and you can store, like, you know, maybe Mando's lightsaber or dark saber. You can store maybe a BD droid, Mando's helmet or jetpack. Here's the cockpit. And let's open this up. And if you look inside, you can see the display. And I'm horrible at putting stickers on. I always get them on like crooked, but in this case I got lucky. So there's the display. Close this. And up here, what used to be the droid socket's now Grogu's kind of little hideout. So yeah, very solid build. I like it a lot. You get some really nice angles off of this thing. It's a really beautiful ship. And let's take a look at the minifigs real quick. So first off, here's the BD droid. You might recognize this from Jedi, what's it called? Jedi Fallen Order. It kind of resembles the droid that follows around Cal Kestis. If this is all one piece, you know, there's no assembly to this. Here we have Grogu. Nothing new. We've gotten Grogu before. And let's put Grogu inside. So there's Grogu. And let's store the BD droid so I don't lose them. I take this, drop them there. So there's the BD droid stored in the compartment. Here's Pelly. I'm not sure if I have the belt on backwards or not, because I'm not sure if the buckle, I mean, generally your buckle always goes on the front, but I wasn't sure if the capsules go on the front instead. Let me take a look at the instructions. Maybe I have it on backwards. Yeah, I have it on backwards. Flip it around real quick. And of course, she has two different heads, or two different faces. She has the smiley face, and then the kind of like little subtle smirk. Yeah, so there's Pelly. And then now we come to Mando. He's in his Beskar armor with a dark saber, and I think he only has one expression. Yeah, and it's a good light. I mean, even though it's a Lego minifig, it still kind of resembles, you know, the actor Pedro Pascal. So that looks great. So what else is there to talk about? Oh, let me grab it. So for those of you wondering how this compares to like previous Naboo Starfighters, here's one of the earlier Naboo Starfighters. I want to say this one came out maybe at least 10 years ago. This wasn't the last one. This was, I believe, the one that came in the blue box. There was the one that came out, I think, during the era of Rebels with it's kind of like the yellow gold box. And then this one came in the blue box, if you remember that, which was during, I think, Clone Wars era Lego sets. So what's kind of weird is that this, even though this is an older build, it seems like it makes a better use of less pieces. It feels a lot cleaner. It's definitely a lot lighter. And it's overall a really, really nice Lego set. I think this one, you know, it's aged well. I don't think, you know, time. I think, you know, over the years, this is still a very nice and clean built model. You know, and then we have this one right here. The Mandalorian one is larger. It's wider. It's definitely a lot heavier. But there's still something about the old classic design that's really nice. And I apologize, like I said, this is, you know, these are both very large vehicles. It's kind of hard to fit them both under my camera. But yeah, I like this one a lot. The original prequel one with little kid Anakin, R2 in the droid socket. Very clean build. This one's very light also. And this one's cool too because this one even comes with like a small display stand, and so you can actually just display this ship so it looks like it's floating, which is awesome. Yeah, I think this set still holds up really well. Okay, so if I had to rate this Lego set on a scale of 1 to 10, for me, I'm saying an easy 8 to 8.5. It's a really, really well done model. I do have gripes though with some of the color choices for some of the pieces, but I mean that could be said with like almost any Lego model kit. They could have done a better job smoothing out the wings, and you know, for me, I just added an additional 10 pieces. You know, with the stock pieces they gave you, you could create essentially a very smooth winged look. You know, the only pieces I added was, you know, these 2x1 plates right there. Otherwise, even if you remove these, the wings would look really, really clean. All you need to do, like I said, is reposition the wing plate that's underneath and place it on top. And then take the two larger smooth plates and just run them like this. So I'm going to take this out real quick. Store the dark saber in here. And his backpack. Let's get. I wonder if we can seat him with the backpack. I'm kind of curious about that. No, it's not going to flow. Okay. So let's take off Mando's backpack. And seat him inside. Might have too much in here. Might have to take out the BD droid. Or maybe I just reposition it. Let's try that. There we go. Everything looks good. It's a nice, clean built ship. If you're a fan of the show, I think this is a must buy. You know, it's kind of, there's something to be said about having like a physical, you know, version of this ship that you can actually hold in your hand. It just looks awesome. You know, there's Mando in the cockpit. There's Grogu. Really, really awesome. Alright, so let's wrap this video up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber or viewer, thank you so much for continued likes, comments, and support. I greatly appreciate it. So, until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. Alright, later.